Morning, welcome to you. Before we proceed with this swearing ceremony, let me first of all acknowledge our leaders, President of the Autonomous Region of ours, Honorable Ministers, our two lawyers who will be facilitating the ceremony this morning, Micah and Imelda. Honorable members, the House of Representatives, thank you. Departmental heads who are here, senior staff from the Department of the President, the DEC, friends, family, and supporters of the who are also here to witness the swearing ceremony. We will now proceed, and I humbly ask everyone to stand up, and you can join me with the Lord's Prayer this morning, please. To the Holy Spirit, seat was in the beginning, is now in the assembly, world without end. Thank you once again. Welcome. As we are now proceeding on to witness the swearing in of the two ministers, the new Minister for DPI and Finance and Treasury. And yet, misalnya saya met in behind again, and the result ng executive decision, government working with Yumi, Executive Council, in order to looking going to move forward in its final destination. With the spirit and collaboration partnership, we'd like to welcome you all this morning. With that, I will now invite, we will proceed with the swearing in, invite Micah and Imelda to proceed with the swearing in this morning, and then we will get straight after the swearing in. Thank you. Micah and Imelda.
I now call Honorable KOLES to come up. Declaration of loyalty to Bougainville, its people, and the Constitution. I, Honorable KOLES, realizing fully the responsibilities to which I am committing myself and the consequences of not living up to this declaration and those responsibilities, freely and willingly declare my loyalty to the Bougainville and its people, and to the Constitution of the Autonomous Region of Bougainville, adopted by the Bougainville Constituent Assembly, made under the authority of the Bougainville Peace Agreement, as implemented in Part 14 Bougainville Government and Bougainville Referendum of the National Constitution, as altered from time to time in accordance with its provisions. And I promise that I will uphold the Constitution of the Autonomous Bougainville Government and the laws which apply in Bougainville, so help me God. I also call Honorable Geraldin Paul.
Honorable Geraldin, realizing fully the responsibilities to which I am committing myself and the consequences of not living up to this declaration and those responsibilities. Freely and willingly declare my loyalty to Bougainville and its people and to the Constitution of the Autonomous Region of Bougainville adopted by the Bougainville Constituent Assembly, made under the authority of Bougainville Peace Agreement as implemented in Part 14, Bougainville Government and Bougainville Referendum of the National Constitution, as altered from time to time in accordance to its provision, and I promise that I will uphold the Constitution of the Autonomous Region of Bougainville and the laws which apply in Bougainville. So help me God. As a newly appointed Minister for Finance, Treasury and Marine Resources, I would like to begin my speech by expressing heartfelt gratitude to His Excellency the President and the members of the Autonomous Bougainville Government for placing their trust in me to serve in this esteemed role. It is with a deep sense of responsibility that I take on this duty to contribute to the continued growth and prosperity of our beloved Bougainville. For reality check, the two of us actually only have 3 months now, or at least 3 or 4 months as our newly appointed before the next election comes up. So with the direction that has been given by our President and our priority as a Finance Minister, I will try my best to make sure that I deliver within the remaining 3 or 4 months that is left. So I would also like to acknowledge the tireless effort and significant contribution of my predecessor, the Honorable Robin Wilson. As his capacity as the Minister, Minister Wilson has served the people of Bougainville with dedication and commitment, and even under his leadership, the finance sector has made a significant stride. His legacy in laying a strong foundation for fiscal policy and financial management will continue to benefit us in the years to come. On behalf of the Autonomous Bougainville Government, I extend my deepest gratitude to him for his unwavering service and to the people of Bougainville. Honorable Wilson, thank you for your leadership and for the effort that you put into the Finance Department. My last 3 or 4 months will basically to continue what you have established in the department. As we look forward to the future, I am acutely aware of the tremendous responsibility we bear in managing the financial resources of our government. The revenue that flows into our coffers is vital for provision of essential services. My brief meeting with the outgoing minister, yesterday we spoke and it was quite clear that we have a lot of spending that we do in this government and less revenue we generate. So that's the biggest challenge for us. We have a priority that we want to do in achieving our independent Bougainville, but we also have a biggest challenge to make sure that we raise revenues that will support us. So those revenues that flow in my tenure as the minister, I will place a strong emphasis on ensuring that we come up with generating sufficient revenue to meet our fiscal obligation. This will involve not only focusing on our traditional revenue resources or sources, which is only 7% of the revenue that we generate out of our total annual budget that we request for, but this will not only involve the focusing of traditional revenue sources, but also exploring innovative and sustainable means of generating income, particularly from our rich natural resources that we already have, including our marine resources. The importance of revenue generation cannot be overstated. It is the lifeblood of this government and operation. However, alongside the critical focus that we have, we must ensure that every kina that we collect is spent wisely and with accountability, as stated by our President in his speech. I am committed to upholding the principle of transparency and fiscal responsibility. Our people deserve nothing less than a government that is open, accountable, and dedicated to using public funds efficiently for the benefit of all Bougainvilleans. As the Minister for Finance, I will work closely with all the sectors of the government to ensure that we maintain an inclusive and a transparent approach to financial management. We will strengthen our public financial management system, ensuring that all sectors, including education, health, infrastructures, and all the relevant economic sectors work together in a coordinated manner. And prioritizing the very key things that the President has mentioned in his speech. This means not only keeping a watchful eye on our funds allocated, but also ensuring that there is accountability in every stage of expenditure. We must continually evaluate our financial system and strive for improvement in everything we do. At the same time, we prioritize good governance, engage in regular dialogue with our stakeholders, our people, our businesses, and our international partners. Together, we must create an environment that fosters trust, promote long-term economic stability. We will hold ourselves to the highest standard, as accountability is a cornerstone of any thriving democratic government. As we work to build a stronger Bougainville, I also recognize the importance of sustainable management of our economic resources, such as marine and agriculture. Bougainville oceans are vital not only for our cultural identity and livelihood, but also for our economic future. The stewardship of these resources will be a top priority for my office. I will work diligently and closely to ensure that we manage our agriculture and marine assets with my new colleague minister, and ensuring that we benefit from generations to come while protecting our unique environment. In conclusion, I stand before you today not only as the new Minister for Finance, but as a partner committed to working collaboratively with you all in this government. Together we will face the challenges of the future, drive economic growth, and build a prosperous, transparent, and accountable Bougainville. I humbly ask for your support as we embark to this journey together. Thank you, and may we continue to serve the people of Bougainville with integrity, respect, and shared vision for a brighter future. Thank you.
Minister, sworn in new Minister for Finance and Treasury, Honorable GERALDIN. We now come to the last response, and please join me as we welcome the new sworn in Minister for Primary Industry and Member for Hapu, Honorable KOLES.
Thank you, LOC. Thank you very much indeed. Before I actually respond, I would like to, through the President, thank the President for the ABG, the BEC Bougainville Executive Council, for having confidence on me to take up the chair. It is a challenging chair. It is not new to me. I've got 50 years of experience in the areas that I have been tasked with the responsibilities to actually deliver and improve delivery services to our people of Bougainville. Because I understand that 90% of our people are rural Bougainvilleans, and that will be my big challenge in operation and trial. But before I actually embark on these areas, I will have to understand the issues surrounding the effective delivery of the services from DPR to the people of Bougainville, particularly rural Bougainvilleans. So this is where I'm coming from. I'm just responding briefly to the President's speech in terms of copper production. You may have seen or read on paper about 2 weeks ago that for the first time ever in the history since Papua New Guinea gained independence, that copper production superseded normal productions for the previous years. We went up to 1.2 billion kilos. This is as a result of the partnership between the farmers, the government, and the private sector. And these are two important parties that normally would help our farmers. And the third party now is the farmer. And 6 years ago, I was embarked on this program, and I rehabilitated a lot of people, particularly in South Bougainville, Central, and part of Northern region. And I resigned in 2020, after 9 years as a consultant with the World Bank project. So, President, I can assure you that I will revisit to begin to understand the actual issues surrounding the farmers' problems, so that I can even begin to understand how I can strategize what key projects that can actually assist with the generation of internal revenue. I don't believe that, I believe that the current dependence that we rely on the national government is going to be short-lived. And if we think that it's going to be short-lived, we will have to assist our farmers because they own the land, they own the resources, and the land has mining in there, and the land has land in there where through which you can actually grow anything and everything that can be grown and creating value out of it, and therefore increasing income per capita for the rural farmers. And this is actually the reason why we need to refocus of attention to our people because they own the resources. And if you give them the right treatments and the right focus, they will help us. They will help us be empowered to generate sufficient revenues, but in the medium to long term, they will assist with paying the taxes. So I'd like to see farmers coming to you in future and say, give me taxes, I will pay. It's a give and take situation. That time will become ideal in us creating a business environment through which these people can be actually empowered to generate internal revenue to government. One other sector which is very, very important, is the mining. We Master, you want to focus to look at this point. I'm not saying monitoring now, paying attention to this point. Monitoring must not look at this point. So I have a land up here, and I'll get something which I prepared through research work that I did, so that how it can affect and assist internal revenue generation for government. And I'm basically starting off with agriculture. Agriculture is very, very important, as the President has alluded to. Over 70% of our people are rural people. And they are capable of actually generating the internal revenue from copper. If you look at the internal revenue that was actually announced lately, two-thirds of that production is from government. If you compute that, that's a substantial amount of money. Yeah, 1.2 billion. So we can only do it better, as the President said, to place better, increased focus to our farmers. And in my short term, I recognize, as the outgoing minister is saying, we have a very small time, very short period of time to actually look at that. I'm now going to look at the current issues that we need to refocus ourselves, particularly paying greater attention to the rural people. Okay, the rural villages, when you look at combining traditional staple and cash income activities, and a small yet increasing number are also engaged in value-added activities at the moment. Some are going through creating soap out of coconut oil, yeah, and some actually selling this in our shops in here. But we need to properly get them to get better organized so that we can attract export markets. That is possible. That is possible. Okay. There was a survey that was conducted during my time with the World Bank. This survey actually revealed that 30% of the population, 30% of the population in the country, which probably means that maybe 10% of ours, 30% of the population in the country, they actually have a problem. Yeah. So 30% of the population in Papua New Guinea are below the internationally recognized extreme poverty line. And if we do not address this in the immediate future, we are going to allow for this worst scenario to come forward and give us a lot of weight and a lot of responsibility to try and sort out in the future. So based on this, it is important that we need to recognize this extremely poor poverty line, because it says that your poverty line now in Papua New Guinea, we talk also maybe $1.59. $1.59. You triple that, that's $3 per pound. Okay. Okay. The poverty is an overwhelming rural phenomenon in Papua New Guinea and in Bougainville as well. Almost 90% of the poor reside in rural areas. And And those people are engaged in agricultural activities and are much more likely to be poor than others, than other people living in households headed by those working in agriculture, whether self-employed or wage earners, are also likely to be poor. More than half of the poor, 55%, live in households where the head is self-employed. In this case, many of us fall into that line, not going. Yeah. So when you look at this, this is indicating that poverty is intimately tied with low agricultural productivity, as alluded to by the President, agricultural productivity, but at the same time, it is also looking at increasing the economic activities in the areas where rural Bougainville so requires. It is very, very important. World exports of copra have been in a long term on a downward trend for decades. During the 1990s, world exports fluctuated between 200,000 to 300,000 tons. Since 2000, world exports have mostly been between 100,000 and 150,000 tons. So the decline reflects the increasing dominance of oil palm in world trade in edible oils, and PNG's copra exports have fluctuated in recent decades, hovering around 60,000 tons in the 1990s, before falling to an average of 29,000 tons since 2000. There was a sharp increase in 2013-14, followed by a period of decline. There is also a sharp increase at the moment. You know, agricultural commodities, they fluctuate a lot. And if you look at how rural people respond, they respond to price hikes as well. That's why by looking for some increased production will in turn mean increasing the profits of their pockets. So this is basically what I'm saying now. Okay, in terms of self-sustained agriculture, it provides for primary source of food, energy, and portion for rural villages. Staple foods are the main source of food, energy. They represent 68%. And food protein is 43%. For rural villagers with significantly less amount from a variety of other products, the heavy reliance on staple foods, especially sweet potato, which are low in vegetable and animal protein, is one of the main factors contributing to the high levels of stunting among children. Subsistence agriculture also provides food and security. I'll finish this and I'll go to fisheries. Okay, subsistence agriculture provides food security when rural villagers are not willing or able to engage in cash economy earning activities. Factors that determine rural villagers' engagement in income earning opportunities are several. One relates to the income earning possibilities or returns to labor of different cash income products for cash crops such as cocoa, coffee, and palm oil, and fresh foods. Where return labor is relatively high, rural villagers are first likely to revert to growing staples. However, in the case of copra and rubber production where returns to labor are comparatively low, rural villagers are more likely to revert to subsistence activities. For several rules, when the returns to labor are below the average daily wage rate, rural villagers will be more likely to stop production and vice versa. So this slide is very, very important. Let me now go to some research work I did on our fisheries. I am glad that at the moment now we have begun to receive 5 million tuna from the royalties of catches by fishing boats from Bougainville waters. So let me just give you some highlights of the facts about Bougainville scenario in the fisheries industry. Bougainville is soon to be an island nation. A surgeon at the sea and fell. identified policy legislation developments are paramount for needy big-binding powers as priority directions to lead the fisheries development industry in its entirety. This means that Bougainville will have to create sovereign rights over valuable tuna, other marine resources within its own ocean areas of jurisdiction. This is a legal area now. This initiative to the steps, and that they are being taken by us is in the right direction, particularly your side law royalty payments not even given now. And they're very important. Okay. So I'm saying that this initiative to steps being taken by us is in the right direction, and we should actually move forward with it. But as long as we are taking the right direction and then at the right destination. Okay, a little bit of history about Papua New Guinea through Bougainville tuna resources. Historically, Papua New Guinea through Bougainville tuna resources captured from tuna only by charging licensing fees to foreign fishing boats. Foreign fishing boats which relegate Papua New Guinea as a source of raw material for global tuna industry. To capture more value from tuna, including much needed jobs and infrastructure, the autonomous Bougainville government will have to offer firms that can invest in domestic tuna processing or plan strategic long-term fishing licenses, shareholding partnership arrangements. This strategy of obligating indebtedness will enable the ABG to reorder the International Division of Labor in the canned tuna sector. But socio-economic sector outcomes are shaped by competition within the global tuna industry, which are the core business strategies of foreign firms in domestic conditions in Papua New Guinea. It is evident that we lack capacity of creating much needed and clearly thought out fisheries development plans to address unemployment in rural, coastal, and inland areas. This is additionally coupled by the fact that infrastructures needed for preservation and well-established marketing infrastructures are non-existent, particularly under additional coastal fisheries development programs have hardly been developed for the vast majority of rural Bougainvilleans that live in the coastal and inland areas. Now coming back to tuna, ultimately, a state's right to control the terms of access to tuna is not synonymous with its ability to shape the local level consequences that emerge or can emerge, or as firms do comply. These findings reveal the peculiar nature of state sovereignty over pelagic marine resources and the complications of exploiting them to achieve domestic economic and social objectives. Bougainville waters, stormy seas for Papua New Guinea's tuna revenue. It was reported on the 10th of May 2022 by the World Economic Forum that water associated with Bougainville had valued the catches caught over Bougainville at United States $323 million per year. Patrick Manos, an economist with the University of Papua New Guinea's National Food and Agriculture, and manages the nation's tuna fishing boat, selling access to Papua New Guinea's exclusive economic zone to foreign tuna fishing vessels, released this information. The revenue collected by National Fisheries Authority from managing the tuna fishery and other commercial fisheries is annually paid by NFA to the Papua New Guinea government and consolidated revenue. Apportionment of this revenue sharing arrangement between Papua New Guinea is continuing. Potential threats looming to Papua New Guinea on revenue sharing. Bougainville's steady progress towards independence from Papua New Guinea threatens to significantly decrease its annual revenue. Good news for us. Because an agreement between Papua New Guinea and Bougainville that once a revenue sharing arrangement has been, it has not been done. Thank you very much, former Minister for Fisheries and Agriculture. Okay. Tuna catches derived from Bougainville waters. In August of 2019, Patrick, an economist based at the UPNG, estimated that at least 30% of Papua New Guinea's annual tuna catch is caught in Bougainville waters, maritime water associated with Bougainville, which had value the catch at over 333 million per year. At the current PLC price, having been devalued, this figure is tripled and can come up to 999 million kina. Okay, some more things about Bougainville. This is available information so that I can work on these areas when I get it. So given the issue that NFA has stalled the development and signed of the MOU, but it was stalled now, fisheries between Papua New Guinea government and the Polish government since signing of the peace agreement in August 2001, it is now clear that it will be in no hurry to negotiate agreement and the implementation of a revenue sharing arrangement. We got that, but we can still go ahead. And ABG, since Papua New Guinea stands to lose at least 1/3 of tuna fisheries revenue under such an arrangement, we should therefore fast track these steps for a tuna commercial industry economic proposition, now currently being driven by the Northern Bloc, for the reason that we are now here today when these things happen. Perhaps even more worrying for NFA is that the fact that Papua New Guinea's maritime provinces, if they seize on the precedent of a tuna fisheries revenue sharing arrangement between national government and APG, Papua New Guinea stands to lose more of its fisheries revenue. But that's okay. We already passed on money in the program. Give them to provinces, maritime provinces. Yeah. So with this, Honorable President, Ministers, now relying on staff for here, we like to propose President, I will work with you. I will make sure the challenge you issued to me is effectively, and if need be, I will review areas where I can actually mobilize our own farmers so that they play a local role in the internal revenue generations where they have the power to do so. And the power rests with the land and the resources that they have. What we need is increase on our effective service delivery systems, now developing this, and reduce on human power at the headquarter level, now finally is aligning on a work level. With this few remarks, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. And thank you to the ABT, BEC, even considering it. Thank you.
Lawyer, Micah, and another, facilitating this majority agreement this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to invite now the President to give his formal remarks on this swearing-in ceremony. Mr. President.
Thank you. I would like to acknowledge the presence of our lawyers here this morning and of the Autonomous Bougainville Department. I acknowledge the presence of the departmental heads and members of the Bougainville Public Service. Before proceeding, I must express my gratitude to the outgoing Minister for Finance and Treasury, GERALDIN. I recognize Mr. Wilson's commitment and dedication to the Executive Council and the Ministry of Finance and Department of Finance. His leadership brought stability and progress to the department. I am grateful for his service as a very senior member of my cabinet. Ladies and gentlemen, from the outset, I want to congratulate the former Minister for Agriculture, Primary Industries and Marine Resources, Honorable GERALDIN for taking up the portfolio of the Minister of Finance and Treasury. Minister Paul will retain marine resources under from her former portfolio as Minister for the Primary Industry. I also congratulate Honorable Patrick KOLES, member for Harper, on his appointment as our new Minister for Agriculture and Primary Industry. Minister KOLES brings to the Cabinet a wealth of experience from the public service and the private sector. He has proven himself as an able administrator and capable leader. His mission in the Bougainville Executive Council will greatly benefit the Executive Council. Mr. Paul, and his undeniable fact of our expenditure as the government far outweighs our revenue. We rely on the intergovernment funding and almost 50 million from internal revenue to fund our government programs. This is given to us cause to ensure prudent financial management and effective allocations of resources, strengthening revenue collection mechanisms, ensuring fiscal discipline, and promoting transparency in the financial expenditure have been a long-standing priority of the ABG. This is strengthen our capacity, especially through a structured government imposed tax regime. As you take over the responsibility of the finance and treasury portfolio, I want your primary focus to be on providing adequate funding for health, education, transport development in Bougainville to improve infrastructure, service delivery, and we have many development programs for roads, schools, hospitals, and social economic sectors that must be funded adequately. I'm directing you to collaborate with the Ministry of the Department of Technical Service to see the implementation of these important programs and projects. Minister Paul, you will have at your disposal one of our very best secretaries in which is Mr. Joshua Taupo. He will offer you the advice on policy and administration matters and guide you to fulfill the development agenda of this government. Minister KOLES, your role is crucial in driving sustainable agriculture development. I want you to put on a strong emphasis on cocoa production in Bougainville. Efforts should be directed towards increasing the yield of farmers, improving for quality production, and ensuring revenue. Cocoa means within Bougainville to benefit local communities. We have to provide our farmers with better access to markets, training, and financial support that will be the key to achieve these goals. Our government has the Bougainville Agriculture Community Regulatory Authority with the recent appointment of Barbara Council at your ministry and department must operationalize this very entity. We must harness the potential our commodities have in raising revenue for Bougainville. Barbara, when fully operational, will improve on our capacity to deliver on high standards of quality output from our agricultural commodities sector. It is time we move away from spending too much time on policy initiatives that have not yielded a tangible outcome. We need to focus on the basics in the agriculture sector, and over 70% of our people live off the land as they are substitute farmers who grow the produce cash crops. Monetizing this very important commodity should not be a problem for the government, of course. In the long run, we hope for downstream processing, but that will only happen if we have a solid foundation to produce a constant quantity of quality cash crops. Minister KOLES, you have been a key figure in this sector, So I know I can count on your experience and expertise to produce result. Once more, I congratulate you both for the taking up of this challenge in this leadership. We do not have a lot of time left, but we can still work towards fulfilling the prerogative of the government by being proactive, accountable, and transparent. We must remain consistent, facilitate progress in developing Bougainville. Thank you and God bless you all. We have some people of Bougainville, the Bougainville government. This is an honor once again to the outgoing Minister for Finance Treasury. Thank you for your support in collaboration with the government and the Ministers Department and Newman's swearing in this afternoon. We wish you a pleasant work whilst we work together, working towards the people's wishes for independence. We have no other obligation, but we are obliged to work on behalf of our people to make independence a reality. Let's cheers on this. Cheers!
Dr. Islam, Dr. Miguel,